Okay, then we get to, I want to say, a couple of steps ahead where we are now working with all these percentage or these rand figures, and they start giving you percentages in your question. So we work with profit margins. Okay, and this you might want to recap after your lecturer has dealt with this. Every person has their own way of unpacking this. You might also, if you've come slightly comfortable with maths, you might be able to understand this in a different way. So this is, if you may be battling with this, you need a revision, but please also your textbook does a good job of unpacking this. There's just a bit of a revision in case you need to hear it one more time. Okay, maybe just putting it all on one slide for you to be able to see. Okay, so we are at the area towards the end of your learning unit, 2.8, 2.9, question round about there. Now we start getting profit margins. The question tells you you're making a 50% profit on cost, or your margin is a 40% gross margin on selling price, and you suddenly don't know what to do. Okay, so what we need to do is, because we have a selling transaction, we typically in every sale have a cost price and a selling price. We need to book in the cost price because that's what the goods cost us to produce. And that's the goods that we're losing, the value of the goods that we are losing because we are having the sale. The selling price is important to book in because that's the rand value that we're receiving for this transaction, as well as the rand value of the sale. Okay, so if I'm baking a cake, cost me 100 rand to produce, I'm selling it for 200, I'm making 200 rand. 200 rand is also the value of my sale, but I am losing 100 rand in terms of cost price. Okay, so that's why both of those values are important, and I need to book in both of them. And typically, you'll get the selling price in a transaction. Okay, we use two methods. So you have to look out on your question whether you are getting method 1 or method 2. Okay, method 1, we are using the terminology would typically read a markup percentage or a profit percentage on cost. What this means is that a percentage of profit is added to the cost price of your product, and that is the profit that this product is giving us. Okay, your equation would be that cost price is 100%, you add your profit percentage, and that gives you 100 plus your profit percentage. So let's say your profit percentage is 50, 100% will be your cost price, you're adding 50% profit, so your selling price will be 150%. Okay, so how you work out your cost price is you take that rand value, they'll typically give you a selling price, so this should be selling price, multiply the percentage from this equation that you want. You'd probably want to work out the cost price, which is 100%, and you divide it by what you have percentage, and that'll be 150%. Okay, so that's the one method. So your starting place is cost price. That's the value that you received, or that's the value that you worked, you put your profit on top of. So that's the side of the equation that you will work with or work from. Okay, then method 2. In method 2, they'll probably tell you something like you have a gross margin percentage or a profit percentage on the selling price of an item. This means that a percentage of profit is worked out from selling price, and that is the profit they make. So they're selling an item for 200 rand, and they tell you 50% of that is profit. Okay, so your equation, your cost price, profit, selling price equation is now selling price becomes the 100%. That's the base value that you're working from. Work your way backwards, and then you say, well, if profit is 50, cost price would be 50. Then cost price is 50, profit is 50, selling price is 100%. Number 4 is exactly the same as method 1. You take the rand value of what you've been given, which typically should be your selling price, multiply the percentage that you want based on number 3, divided by what you have percentage, which if you have selling price of 200 rand, you want to work out cost price, multiply that by 100 minus the profit, which is 50 in our example, and divide it by 100%.